When we find fault in ourselves, we'll expose them in other people. Yesterday, I put out a video in the afternoon, a video about something that's going on in my state. It's kind of been a little bit of a trend on here about Nebraska and what's happening out in their agricultural part of our state, where the farmers are starting to realize that these cuts that are coming are going to really affect them, and they're kind of scared. They feel like within a quarter or two, they're going to end up losing their family generational farms. They won't be able to produce anything, won't be able to make any money. They're going to lose everything. And I was putting this out and just kind of in this concept of, I understand that these people, they voted the way they did. That part of our state, I mean, we are the big red state, and that part is extremely red and has been for generations. It's just known that they're always going to vote red. There's only two blue dots in our whole state, Omaha and Lincoln gets washed out with a lot of red because in that county, in that district, there's a lot of agricultural stuff around it that kind of washes out all the blue inside of Lincoln. And I put this video out just to kind of, hey, this is kind of my point of view. What affects one affects everybody. So when one person suffers, everyone's going to suffer. If I cause harm to some individual, that's going to end up harming me in some way or form too, because I hurt the whole entity by hurting that one part of it. And what surprised me and ended up being kind of a social experiment on the whole thing was the comments that I got back on it. And overwhelmingly, the comments were, good for them, screw them, fuck them. This is what they voted for. They get what they deserve. And I understand this sentiment completely. I mean, it's justice in its rawest form of, you choose this, you're going to get the consequences of what you choose. And this is what you're reaping from your vote for what you put forward, what you were championed. When you put that flag in the back of your truck and drove around all around your little town, this is what you were going for. And I get that sentiment, but it's just this brief, fleeting, just excitement and happiness that you get because truly you don't understand the effects of all this on a grander scale. And this was kind of the point I was trying to make was this might be a small area, small population of people that it's affecting, but it's part of our food source, and it's going to affect other states around here too. Kansas and Dakotas, Oklahoma, Iowa, all these agricultural states are going to be affected by these cuts in the same way. That it's coming through as, well, it's good for them. They deserve it. That's why they voted, and that's what they get. But that's going to affect the food supply in the whole nation. I mean, locally, it's going to affect our economy greatly, but nationally, it's going to affect the food supply. It's going to affect produce and stuff in the country. It's going to affect meat markets because a lot of the meat comes out of this area of the country between beef and pork and all that. That's going to be higher priced because of all this. And it just never shocked me to see that so many people were like, I don't care about that. I want to be happy and gloat in these people because it's this thing that I thought mainly happened with Christians, and I saw a lot in Christendom, but now I'm starting to see it in other areas of life of I have to be right. And if I'm right, if you're extremely wrong, and you're extremely wrong because you're suffering from this now, and I hope you see that point, that realize that I'm right. And it's not a good way to live. Coming from Christianity, I understand this, that I had to be right at all times, and gloating in people that would be exposed for being wrong according to my beliefs and systems, getting happy and gleeful thinking about the people when Jesus came back that would be punished and served that eternal torture because they didn't agree the same way I did and believed in things I believed in my Christian faith, and that was justice and they deserved it. But it's a fleeting feeling. It's nothing really to hang on to or sink your teeth into because it's going to be gone after a bit. And eventually, you're going to see the ramifications of that person's suffering affect you because we're all united and we're all together and it's all one that we have to operate in. So instead of pointing fingers and laughing and keeping the division big and strong in this country, we need to have unity. And it's not about you coming and agreeing with 100% what I'm saying. It's about finding that common ground, that middle area that we come to. Maybe it's we can expose these people to, socialism isn't so bad. Now you can see that because our socialist programs that kept you afloat through subsidies and insurances and all these other government programs that were coming in, grants and everything else for soybeans to be put into fuel sources and, the corn being turned into ethanol and everything else like this, these government grants coming in are socialistic programs. And this socialism that you've always condemned and thought is an awful thing is actually positive and kept you afloat for a while. And if you can break down that wall, maybe that's a crack that you can put in that armor of, hey, this just red only and only seeing red all the time isn't that great. I can now see that socialism can benefit and has benefited me, as a farmer for so long that I've been propped up by it. I need government assistance. Cities need government assistance. We all need these government programs to help us run and operate and take care of some of the basic needs in our life. Kind of what government should be doing, taking care of our basic needs of everyone, not just the top 1% as we're seeing now. But if we can start seeing this and coming together and realizing, helping people understand this is what's happening, this is what's going on, yeah, you were wrong. And you're going to suffer some from this. And it's probably good because that's a way to learn from this. But I'm not going to gloat and I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to help bring you along so that we can find common ground to work on. And then we can start uniting to fight against what's going on in our country today.